Making pastry flour, gluten-free pastry flour, by adding a bunch of different things together, because we're going to make pie crust in a minute. And your basic gluten-free all-purpose flour isn't the best for that. Okay, so now just cutting in the butter. So this is going to be gluten-free all butter pie crust. We decided not to put any Crisco in there. We were suspect about the ingredients. So far we've got salt, sugar, the pastry flour that we made up with the gluten-free ingredients, and some butter. And now I'm just going to cut it in. Okay, so we've been cutting the flour in here and the sugar together with the butter. Cutting in just means kind of mixing things, but not mixing them completely. You can see there's little chunks of butter, like right there. And you want that because that's important. That is why pie crust is flaky. It's why scones are flaky. It's because when things are in the oven, the butter melts and the structure's already there, and that's what causes the little holes to be there, making it flaky. Okay, we're going to add the water. And we're going to add between a third cup and a half cup of water. So we start out with a half cup just ready right there. Starting, I think I'm probably going to have to put it all in. But I don't know for sure how this, I don't know why that's different every time, but it is. Can I have just a little more water, please, Lil? I went ahead and put the rest of the water in. So I'm really just kind of like squeezing it together. Because again, if you mix it too much, then you'll lose those little chunks of butter or fat, whatever it might be. And just kind of pushing it together. And then we're going to divide it into two separate pieces here. One will be for the top of the pie, and the other one will be for the bottom. I usually make one a little bigger than the other. Okay, so we made two kind of like balls, kind of like they look like hamburger patties, really. And actually, Lilli has got this stuff. What is this stuff, Lil?
It's a beeswax wrap, so it's reusable rather than just using plastic wrap.
Cool. So we're going to have to use one because that's all we've got. We're going to roll it up and then put the other one right on top there. Right there, yep. And just, however you can do it.
Like this.
We can figure this out. I have complete faith. And we're going to put those in the fridge to chill for a while. Okay, so we've got 1 cup of pureed blueberries in there. A half cup of water, and Lilli is adding a cup of maple syrup. And I'm going to toss in, the tapioca. You got to get the minute tapioca. That was actually a 1/4 cup tapioca. And now we just let this sit around for 10 minutes. Okay, so in this bowl we have got the blueberries. So that's the remaining 6 cups of blueberry, a little bit of lime zest, a little bit of lime juice, and a pinch of salt. And that is just waiting until the blueberries that we processed into mush and put in here 10 minutes ago with the tapioca and the water and the maple syrup comes to a boil and gets thick, and then we'll mix it all together, put it in the fridge, and it'll be ready to go later on. Now it's cooking. It's gonna bubble up for a little bit. It's getting there. It's like a cauldron, you know.
Oh my gosh.
So this is pretty much about as thick as it needs to be. I'm going to probably turn that off, and then we will mix it in with the other blueberries. This pan is really heavy. So all that stuff goes in, and then we're going to mix it up I'll get that in a minute. Come back for that. And you can still see a little bit of the tapioca, which is okay, because when this goes into the pie shell, it's going to boil again a little bit in the oven. So those will get finely cooked down. Okay. Okay, so when rolling out gluten-free pie dough, it's a little bit more like smushing and smashing than rolling. Would you say that's true, Lily?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Since there's no gluten holding it together, you just gotta really kind of adapt to what it's like and try to make sure it just sticks together, which is weird.
So less flour, a little bit of water, I think you said, right?
Mm-hmm. Depending on it, because each flour, if you're using different blends, it's gonna be different. So you gotta make sure you're just kind of doing what you think is right. And normally it works.
Okay, cool. We'll check back in a minute. So you're getting there with the pie dough.
Mm-hmm. We're being really gentle and just trying not to break it. Because if you break it, you gotta start over. Just gently pushing it and making it bigger and bigger. And smoothing out, putting all the cracks back together every time you see one.
And that's all because it's gluten-free.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even with the, as I say, gluten-full ones, they get cracks and you gotta fix them, but it's a lot easier since it wants to stay together. This one doesn't.
It does usually want to stay together, doesn't it?
I'd hope it would.
Okay. So what are we going to have to do? We're going to have to like pick it up, push it over the edge, and it'll just fall right in?
Yes. Normally we would roll it over the pin and make it look all cool and nice, but if we do that, the whole thing will just crack because it doesn't have the stretch that a normal crust would do.
Okay. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so we did it. We did it. We couldn't show it to you because it took both of us to do it, but now we're going to pinch it together and then put some blueberries in there.
Versus expertise. I guess that's what we do, right?
I think experience and expertise are very similar. That's how one comes.
Yep, here we go.
Okay, we got it together. Blueberries are going in. Oh, this is the blueberries, the fresh blueberries, and the blueberry mixture that we put together earlier. Yes, yes, yes. How's it going there, Lil?
It's going good.
It'd be about ready, probably, huh? Okay, looks almost big enough to go on top of this pie, which is looking pretty good. Here's the blueberries inside the crust. Yum. So we just put a little water along the edge of the crust before you put the top crust on. So you got to crimp it down together, mush it to the other pie crust underneath it. Then we're going to crimp somehow. So we're making little leaf shape things here as ventilation. And then we're going to put a little sugar on there and pop it in the oven.
I remember one time I put one in the middle.
So you always put your pie on the bottom shelf in the oven. It's just a thing.